Hello everybody. I don't know what's wrong with my voice. I think it's allergies, but lately I've had like a lot of stuff in my throat for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, so today I want to talk about my first group ride. After I bought my bike, I decided that the next thing I needed to do was right away go on a group ride, just to tear the bandage off. And this was the last ride that was offered by the Toronto Bicycling Network for about 20 kilometers for the season. So it was my last chance to take one. There were other group rides offered later for 30 or 50 kilometers, but I didn't dare take those. I got my new bike, I threw it into my car, made sure that I had prepared things like had the right bike shorts, got a little pouch on the front of the bike, even got a protein bar with me, water, everything. So I showed up where we're supposed to meet the group. I told the leader right away, look, I may abandon the ride halfway through. I just don't know if I can keep up. And so please don't get mad at me, or please know that that's what might happen. This was a no drop ride. So technically that means that there's a sweeper, person riding in the back, making sure that nobody is left behind. And so that's why I really had to let them know ahead of time that that might happen, and I'm just going to find my way back if I need to cut the ride halfway. A lot of people showed up for the ride, all kinds of different bikes. There were for me, I felt I needed a faster bike, but they had all kinds of bikes. They had Brompton bikes, foldable bikes, bikes that seemed very, very heavy and difficult to ride. And they had a few e-bikes. A lot of people who had, who were quite a bit older than me, maybe 10, 15 years, maybe. So some people probably were well over 70. So I thought, seeing all those people, and they didn't look like they were in the best shapes, like they were nice looking people, but they were normal looking people, not like athletes that I see on Global Cyclists Network. Some of them had a little bit of a punch and, a little bit of handles and love handles and everything. They were like me, or a little bit thinner or whatever. And some ladies were in tip-top shape for sure. Seeing that there were all kinds of people, all kinds of bikes, I thought, okay, probably I will not be the very last one. Probably they will not have to wait for me. Chances are, I don't know for sure, but maybe because of the kind of people that I saw, maybe they will not have to wait for me. And I was wrong. So we took off, and at first I kind of kept up. We were going through a wide trail. There were a lot of people. I have to say I was very happy with my new bike because I felt like I had so much more control. The last bike, the moment I slowed down, the bike would lose balance. I don't know why. But this bike, I could slow down quite a bit and it still retained its balance. It was just so much easier and smoother to ride. So we went on a very wide trail and I saw people stopping and waiting. And I didn't realize that they were waiting for me. But that had to happen over and over and over. And the difficult thing was that every time that I would finally catch up, I think, oh my God, they're standing. Well, I'll get a bit of a rest now. But since they were waiting for me, every time I would finally catch up, they would just take off again. And I just had to keep pressing harder and harder and harder. This was the most challenging and the best exercise ever because I couldn't go at my own pace. I constantly had to pedal very, very hard to try and keep up, and invariably I would still fall behind. On the way to our bathroom break, which was about 2/3 of the ride, I actually didn't do any walks of shame. I just learned that term. It's not mean what it normally means. What it means is walking your bike uphill. I did not have to do any. I don't know how I managed, but I managed. I lowered my speed and I got up those hills. Okay, I think we're more than halfway done, maybe 13 kilometers done, I don't know, but it's been like really hard ride. After a while, after our stop for to go to the washroom, I couldn't do it anymore. Like, I really couldn't. So I got off the bike a lot. There was one really, really long, steep hill, and I mean, not just me, there was a couple of other people that walked their bikes, but most of the people just rode them up. Of course, the people who had e-bikes rode them up. I felt a little unfair that they didn't have to be embarrassed in case they were in bad shape as me. On the way back, I pretty much had to walk most hills because I was not only tired, but I also somehow never got into the lower gear fast enough to be able to get on those hills. So once you are like on an incline, it's very hard to get on the bike. It just is. So I trudged on. It was getting more and more difficult. My legs were burning, and about 2 kilometers away from our stop, I finally had to tell the sweepers, who were very nice ladies, very nice, great shape, so sweet. They told me that their first bike ride they had abandoned. So I really felt like there was hope for me yet. But I had to tell them, please just go on without me. That's it. I can't do it. And of course, I had every intention to finish the ride. Where else would I go? Like, it was 2 kilometers from our stop. But I was completely wiped. I couldn't get on the bike and just pedal at the same rate. And I felt like I just need to walk it. It is just too tough. So I have to say that I was actually pretty proud of myself. I was so proud of myself that I put the bike into the car after I finally got back to the parking spot, mostly walking my bike. I put the bike into the car, and I still went to the coffee shop with everyone, but I just got a coffee and left. So I have to say that for my first bike ride, I made it. I didn't give up. Of course, it was peer pressure, but peer pressure really makes you work really, really hard. And I just don't like to be embarrassed or hold people back. And at the same time, I knew that I couldn't just leave half the ride. For the most part, I actually did well enough not to have to leave. It was only at the very end that was so brutal, so brutal. It just seems so easy for them. Even people on a Brompton. Now, I don't know. I heard Brompton is actually really easy to ride, but I have a folding bike, and just the position on it is just not comfortable. And Brompton has like 16, maybe that person had 20-inch wheels. I can't remember now, but it definitely didn't look like a very fast bike. But, you know, they seem to do it all effortlessly. And that is my goal for next summer. Next summer, I want to be able to get on the bike and keep up with everybody effortlessly. I don't want to be behind everybody. Anyway, so that's the experience of my first group ride. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.